Well, hello everybody. It's Thursday and I have a little bit of a fun weekend wrap up or going into this week what we got coming up. Oh, I got my glasses on. Look at that. I look smart. Happy Thursday everybody. It's good to see you. And what I got planned today is just to jump through um, just my social media here. I have my own page on YouTube I've had forever. It's got a mixed bag of all kinds of crap. I'm not monetized or anything like that, so I don't. I if they play ads, it's bullshit because I don't get paid for them. So anyway, that's just YouTube, and we have no control over all that crap. But I have a lot of different things. The most recent stuff, well, all of these live podcasts or whatever, I try to within a day upload them to YouTube. Now, I'll go through and like make sure there's no copyright music or anything that's gonna be like hurting my channel. Like none of them are monetized because of course it's NASCAR stuff. But it's important for me personally to preserve some of the history, some of the funny anecdotal stories observed like as a daughter of a car builder in several forms of racing throughout my entire life. And, drag racing, modifieds, any of the like Bush North, Bush South, Sportsman, IMSA, the Cup when it was called Grand National, the Cup when it was Cup. I mean, it's from 1957 until now, my dad has been involved in racing. And personally, I love the chassis side. Like, I've tried to drive my son Sim. It gets me green. I get all kinds of motion sickness and stuff like that. But if they have a trouble setting up a car and stuff like that, I would just say, we'll try this, we'll try that. And there's 7 ways of doing things, but there are some big basics that you got to stay with. But that overall, I upload that here. I have stuff on my dad. He just did an interview 5 days ago. This is the actual website, Legends of Racing Radio. The audio's a little rough. My sister uploaded hers that was taken from the tables, so that's got some background noise too. Next time, maybe we will get him a clip-on mic or something so that we can have the sound. Because these guys are broadcasting through like several platforms and such. So anyway, a lot of this is like I have playlists of just my stuff, my art, my North Carolina, my Florida, my son's sim racing, Smokey Eunuch, my hero of all time. Oh, and R.J. Williams, who is a crew member on land and who is also an iRacer, and Huffman Racing Radio went to Tri-County last week. These are all my go-tos. Stapleton 42, The Scene Vault, IMSA Official. Let me see if it'll be stupid on me. But this off the S's, Oscillon Plant, Butterbean, Air Dug, Garage. And I can hit view all and it's going to give me a whole list of all of them. There you go. See? So anyway, that's how I keep up with a lot of stuff. And, yeah, like playlists, there's just tons. All different years, music, my dad's Shock Dyno, vintage track music I remembered hearing at the track when I was a little kid. So there's just a mismatch of all kinds of stuff. Friend of ours was a IFL kicker, Daytona road course stuff when you guys were like playing around with that. My dad's career, different years, 91 to 94, 95, we got 96, 97. Here, 97 to 2001. My dad's early years, this is from like 57 and up. These are some like just Daytona Speed Week stuff from these years. This is modifieds mostly. And also, like that's short tracks. Like, it says modified mostly, but it has a lot of car stuff too. in that list and that. So anyway, I am a multi interest person, and so I put everything on there. So there's dog, my puppy, and my nature walks and everything. So that's why there are many mice running on many wheels in this head. So let's see. We got Substack where I'm writing my book. This is a list of the drivers. I forgot a few. I'm going to add some more and get with Dad and make a few changes on the dates. Then there's, 5 other chapters, and it goes up to 1971. I've got several other that I'm working in draft form, and there's 5 other chapters in draft form. I'm going to be hitting hard this week. So if I'm not live for very long, it's because I've got to hit this. After getting settled here in North Carolina, and things have been working out so easy. Like sometimes you fight against the tide and it doesn't go easy, but when something works the back of our camper fell off. But you know what? We've already drawn up plans. We're gonna make it all so awesome. We're gonna actually make a wall with some memorabilia. I mean, we're gonna deck this place out in the racing eventually. But yeah. So anyway, there's a lot of good racing going on this weekend. So you saw my Substack, you saw my new YouTube channel. I like to follow this team because he's just really funny, and he's got, like I said, he's kind of a local boy, and I've been in this area for 27 years. So he's got a brand new paint. Isn't that sharp? He's sponsored by Sheets this week in action. Well, I'm sorry, for Martinsville. Catch our Sheets Chevy in action September 27th at the Martinsville Speedway for the Valley Star Credit Union 300. Welcome aboard, Sheets. Heck yeah. And I didn't follow Sheets because, I haven't had this Twitter for very long. I've been in and out of Twitter over the last few years. Sometimes I've learned now how to delete garbage and keep my eyes clean. So anyway, I'm a freak. Landon is a freak. We're all freaking perfect. Sheets for the win. Thank you, Matt Dillner. Do I follow Matt Dillner? Yeah, I do. Okay, officially a freak of all things Sheets, and excited to introduce my favorite convenience store in America to short track racing on September 27th at Martinsville Speedway. We have a Sheets about 12 miles away. Or maybe 11, 10. Let's turn the volume up and watch this.
Folks, breaking. Hope you're having a great Wednesday morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to 105.7 Fast Ways, the pride of small town radio. But don't know if you've heard about this, folks. Breaking news out of Claremont this morning. Local Cars Tour driver Landon Huffman has signed a deal with convenience store powerhouse Sheets, and will be driving a Sheets-sponsored late model in the 300 at Martinsville Speedway in September. When asked if he thinks he can power this partnership to victory lane, Huffman was quoted as saying, "Why the Sheets not?"
He's such a ham bone. Oh my God. How can you not like him? Even if he's stunk as a driver, but he doesn't. That is so freaking cute. That's so funny. This is what racing needs as characters, guys. So cute. But anyway, oh my goodness. Oh boy, South Boston, late model brawl ahead. Be there to witness the action this Saturday night. There's no place we'd rather you be than right here for the Cars Tour, under the lights at Sobo. So anyway, that's I'm gonna repost that because I refer back to my Twitter to find out what time racing's at. Okay, Cars Tour had 260,000 in our only appearance on national TV, equivalent to the truck broadcast at Darlington. Wow. ARCA had 43,000 viewers on FS1. All about the TV time, right? Something. But anyway, yeah, Sobo, 7 p.m. this Saturday. Let's see. We'll click on that bigger because I can't quite read it. Okay. $20 in advance, $25 on race day, kids free under 12. That's pretty decent for a Z-Max Car Tours race. Cars Tour race at South Boston, September 13th, 7 p.m. So that's going to tell me... See, this is how I play. This is stuff I do offline, guys. So I wanted to walk you through my basic morning routine. I clicked on my Flow Racing. I'll click on schedule. I know it might glitch because I got a lot of windows open, but I keep trying to shut them as I use them. See, this is Flying Tiger Showdown at Barry. This is all today. So that's the 11th. Let's go to the 12th, which is Friday. Come on. Yep. Oops, shit. I got impatient. I got to remember I'm not hardwired yet. I'm not hardwired. Let's go back to the 12th. That's Friday, tomorrow. Okay. Fonda. I'm just... Oh, Stafford, of course. Oh, the TC13, Ted Christopher 13, Bud Shootout. Shootout for the SK Mods. Why did that just draw a blank? Okay, Napa, Fremont, Kubota. So this is Friday. You know, it's usually the practice day for the Cars Tour. Let's see, Saturday. This is usually where there's lots going on. I know Hickory has the final points race. Fonda. Got a push sprint challenge in California. Fremont, Ohio. Lernersville. Let me see. Mars. That's Midwest Iowa. NASCAR Youth. Cars Tour South Boston, 4:30. Coverage begins Saturday. We've got Riverhead, New York Raceway. That's always a great show. If you like modifieds and good, well managed like Stafford, Riverhead's a cool place to watch. Smart Tours at Dominion. Oh my God, I'm gonna just have my day so full Saturday. The finale at Berlin. NASCAR season finale at Berlin. That must be their local track, NASCAR sanction. And then championship night at Jennerstown. I've been to that track when it was closed just to stand at the fence and look at it. Let me see. The Tri-State Speedway in Indiana. Newton, North Carolina, championship night at Hickory. I knew it. Virginia Sprint Cars at Langley. Boy, there's some good stuff. ARCA West All-American. Rosedale. There's a lot of racing. And then Sunday, what do we got on Flow? Usually a slower day. Okay, wild card things. Stafford must have a special. And Mars. Okay, so Saturday is going to be the big day. I'm going to watch Stafford Friday. Saturday will be the big day. Okay, we can close that. This is my normal morning routine. It's how I do, how I roll. Alright. And then we got J-Ski. Spire Motorsports. This, not his typical New Hampshire ride. Patrick Emmerling will drive a truck. He's a modified guy, so of course he'll drive that at New Hampshire next weekend. Austin Dillon stays close as NASCAR Cup playoffs move to the finish. Connor Zilic rides a wave as NASCAR Xfinity playoffs begin. Chandler Smith expects to rally from Darlington disappointment. We can preview Bristol. This is all Jayski's, Jayski. He used to be an independent, but I think NASCAR bought him up, is what I heard. Tableau will sponsor Ron Ellis at Kansas with football-themed paint. It's sharp looking. NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series news and notes, Bristol. Let's see, NASCAR Xfinity news and notes, Bristol. NASCAR Cup Series news and notes, Bristol. Moose Fraternity expands sponsorship with Ross Chastain. Trackhouse Racing. So that's a different paint. Qualifying order for trucks tomorrow at It's Bristol, baby, which is today. Qualifying order. Do you want to see it? Does it go to his... Yep, it goes to his Facebook page. I mean, his own website. That's jayski.com. All right. Qualifying order. Clay Greenfield. Greg Van Alst. This is Truck Series. Connor Jones, Cole Buescher, Norm Benning, Parker Klingerman, Caleb Costner, Josh Raum, Clayton Green, Trayton Lapsvich, Matt Mills, Mason Maggio, Tony Brodinger, Spencer Boyd, Dawson Sutton, Bailey Curry, Stephen Parsons, Matt Crafton, Giovanni Ruggiero, shout out the mods, Corey LaJoy, Jack Wood, Andres Perez de Lara, Connor Mosak, Ben Rhodes, Tanner Gray. Look at these guys way in the back. Well, they're set up for the race. Brent Cruz, Chandler Smith, Caden Honeycutt, Lane Riggs, Raja Caruth, Jake Garcia, Corey Day, Ty Ankrum, Tom Majeski, Grant Anfinger, Daniel Hemrick, and Corey Heim. Look at all the big name provisionals. Holy smokes. What the... Crazy. So anyway, that's what's up there. Let me shut that one. They've got the Xfinity qualifying order. We'll deal with that tomorrow. And the Cup qualifying order. So anyway, go to jayski.com. If you don't do Twitter, you can go there direct. And that be that for that. Where did I put the race? Did I close that? Show you this in my video storage. I'm just using this to grab the tab. YouTube. Where we going? I need the BUSCH series. There we go. I had the race up and everything. I might have closed it. I got cheap viewers. I'm a cheaper. Cheap. Alright, Austin LaPlante. Here we are. Oops, wrong tab. View playlist. Oh. Okay. There we go. Getting ready to go racing. Let me take care of a little bit of work here. A little side. Do that. Alright. Click and curve. Hickory. That's what I wanted to see. I have not watched a Hickory race. Didn't watch Nashville, Bristol, Texas. Hickory. Now, my dad was not with Feedaway yet. He was at Talladega with Feedaway. but I wanted to see this race because it's a cool
Again
race.
with no break, and each week it's the young stars
So
who
here we
have
go.
shined. Last week
Welcome
in
to
Texas, a
Hickory,
young gun with a
North
familiar
Carolina,
name served notice
birthplace
with a breakthrough
of
win.
NASCAR
Get
stars.
the black flag this time.
And he's got to run.
Oh, he's got him loose coming down. He makes the move on the inside, Mike.
3 wide at the start-finish line past Glenn Allen. Dale Earnhardt Jr. into turn 1 with the lead.
Like his father, Dale Jr.'s first win would come in his 16th career start, and it catapulted him atop the Busch Series standings. Today, it's a return to the short tracks in Earnhardt Jr.'s backyard, Hickory, North Carolina. And on this Easter weekend, there's no time for an Easter egg hunt or the Easter Bunny. For nearly 50 years, race fans have flocked to the birthplace of NASCAR stars. The Hickory Speedway this afternoon on Easter weekend hosts the 8th race of the 1998 NASCAR Busch Series schedule. Let's take a look at the big storylines of this weekend. And heck, the storyline of the season has been who's next? We've had 7 races already competed, 7 pole sitters, 7 different race winners, and already this weekend, an 8th different Bud pole sitter in Robert Presley. What do you think, Buddy Baker? Can we see another new winner here in 98?
Definitely. You have to go all the way back to 14th spot to find somebody that's won this year. On the pole, you have Robert Presley. He's a proven winner here. There's so many people in that top 13 right now that can make their first win this year. So, you know, anybody can win here at Hickory. The racetrack does not favor anyone. Everybody has a lot of experience on this type of racetrack.
And then you've got storyline number 2, and that is the walking wounded. After the last few weekends of racing, we've got more folks here, Larry McReynolds, who seem to be bothered by broken bones or even can't race at all, have substitutes in their place.
Well, you've got Hermie Sadler that's racing injured. Speaking from experience, his team main goal, besides a good performance, keep him comfortable in the car, find the end of this race without taking another hit. Then you got Jeff Purvis and Jimmy Foster's team, substitute drivers. As late as the middle of the week, these subs didn't even know they'd be racing this weekend. But you know what? If I was coming to Hickory to hunt a substitute driver, I couldn't think of 2 better ones than Andy Houston and Dennis Setzer.
And that leads us directly to our third storyline of the day, home track advantage. So many of the drivers in this field have called the Hickory Motor Speedway their home track over the years, not only in this series, but even in late model stock car racing. That includes the Jarrett family and our own Glenn Jarrett.
Well, thanks, Eli. You know, the last time that we saw Robert Presley on TNN was at Nashville. It looked like he was headed to victory lane, but he wound up in the wall. He hopes to change that today. He's on the pole here. You know, Robert has 41 career wins here at Hickory, but none of them in a Busch car. He's hoping to change that here today. What about it, Robert? Can you keep this thing up front?
I believe so. You know, we unloaded this Kingsford Charcoal 360 Chevrolet yesterday, and it's pretty fast right off the bat. And love this Hickory Speedway, and, you know, hope this will make it for a good Easter for us.
Well, I hope so, too. It's like a homecoming for him. You know, he missed the race last week at Texas on the pole today. On the outside pole, in a brand-new Ford Taurus, first time it's ever been raced, Ed Barrier. He has a career best finish here at Hickory of 5th. He's looking to improve that today as well. Now let's go further down pit road to my comrade on pit road. Here's Steve Burns.
Hey, Glenn, let's talk about that home track advantage. This is Jimmy Foster's car, but inside, Andy Houston gets the nod. He grew up 10 miles from here, watching his father race, his uncles race, his brother races here. Now, Andy, you start 7th today. You told me yesterday you could be dangerous here. Why is that?
Well, really, you know, it's a no-lose situation. I don't have any pressure on me. You know, it's a one-race deal. I'm just filling in for Jimmy, and I'm going to try to do the best job I can for Jimmy Foster and Dr. Pepper and this whole race team. It's a pretty good car, so we're going to try to be around there at the end.
Other guys to keep an eye on as far as home track advantage. Dennis Setzer, he won a race here in 1994. And how about Jason Jarrett? His grandfather Ned raced here in 1952. His dad Dale has won here, and yes, even his uncle Glenn has won a race. Eli?
So a lot of stories here today. We'll follow them all over the course of the 300 laps, 108.9 miles of racing. The starting lineup from Hickory next. CNN Motorsports live coverage of the Galaxy Foods 300 is being brought to you by Texaco. Texaco, a world of energy. And by the more than 1,900 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. Welcome back to Hickory Motor Speedway. The Grand Marshal, the Iron Man, Jack Ingram, will be giving the command of fire engines shortly. Why don't we check out the starting grid for you with 31 teams going to the post today. Robert Presley, his 5th career Busch pole. Ed Berrier in a new car. The late model stock car standout, Kevin Grubb. Phil Parsons, the veteran. Rows 1 and 2. Row 3, there's the guy they call Hurricane locally, buddy, Mike Dillon.
They said he come in here in 1994 and started winning races, won 5 and went on about his business. They call him the Hurricane. Come in, left, and it made a big impression.
Dick Trickle, Joe Bessie. Mark Green, he's led more miles this year, Larry Mack, than anybody else in the Busch Series.
7th in the points as well. He's been up front about all year long.
There you see some good young drivers and the mix of fellows who've run here before, like Dennis Setzer, who won in this series at this track in 1994. Hermie Sadler, 148 consecutive starts for him. Jason the Jet Jarrett in his Chevrolet. When Dale Jarrett drives the car, it's a Ford. When Jason's in it, it's a Chevrolet. Elliott Sadler, he's going to have to go to a backup car, but he used his up pretty badly here yesterday.
Yes, he did. And last practice, he got a little wide, getting in the corner, got in the loose stuff on the top part of the racetrack, back to his primary car, into the wall.
And there you see one of those stranger stories. Randy LaJoy, shotgun on the field, and Larry Mack, the man, not even led. He's won the championship now 2 years in a row, hasn't even led a single lap.
Yeah, I talked to Birdie this morning, and they are a little bit confused. And I said, Birdie, I'll make a deal with you. When you figure your qualifying efforts out, if you'll let me know and we figure ours out, I'll let you know.
Of course, Birdie is Steve Bird, the team manager, crew chief for Randy LaJoy. Now let's check out the AutoZone race analysis.
We lost Steve Bird in real life
stores
here.
Across America. AutoZone, the best parts
Between
auto parts.
the 6th and the 7th of September. I haven't researched it a whole lot to know the details, but I know the personal side of it. He was a good friend of our family. I've known he's been in really tough shape for about 6 weeks, and we were all hoping he'd pull through,
But you know what's interesting? This race is starting.
unfortunately we lost a great race car chassis guy and a guy my dad mentored for many years. And then competed and became, best friends through the whole deal. It just really sucks, but, we're losing a lot of these racers.
You guys talked about Elliott Sadler a moment ago.
It's just the part we don't focus on.
29.
We just have
They
to
are
keep
starting
carrying
17th,
on.
but boy, they are making major changes. This morning they changed 4 shocks, 4 springs, upper control arms, sway bar, track bar, and that is a car that Jeff Green drove. So changing everything but the paint job.
Now, of course, they've even changed Hermie around a little bit after injuring his right knee in Texas. They found out he had a dislocated fibula, and they relocated, if you will, on Tuesday, and he's going to be racing here. He says he feels okay so far, but let's talk a little bit more, he says, as the afternoon continues. As far as the in-car cameras are concerned, we'll be riding with veteran Phil Parsons, who's won here in late model stock races. He's never won the NASCAR Busch Series race here at Hickory. Matt Hutter making his very first start at Hickory. What's he going to be facing today, buddy?
I think Matt Hutter needs to just log laps right now and get a lot of experience. He does not have the experience on racetracks that some of the competitors do.
The FINA team will also be carrying the channel lock onboard camera today from shotgun on the field, so he should be giving us some thrilling pictures from the very back. The defending champion of this Galaxy Foods 300, the legendary Dick Trickle of Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin. And, of course, Andy Houston from just up the road a piece in Hickory's downtown area. He, too, will be carrying the onboard cameras for us as he subs for the injured Jimmy Foster. Jimmy is here, has his foot in a cast in the aftermath of the accident.
Since moving to North Carolina, we're about 45 minutes away from this track, so we may be able to go there more often in person. And the race, I just showed you the race car with the sheets design and all that. That's Landon Huffman, and he won Hickory Track Championship in 20.
us here on TNN
22, I
Motorsports.
believe.
Eli Gold,
And his
Larry
dad is
McReynolds,
also
Buddy
one, so they're
Baker,
both
Glenn
on the
Jarrett, Steve
championship
Burns, and the
board.
entire TNN family on
So
hand
this
here in
this
Hickory.
track I went to
Stick around. Should be a good
in
afternoon.
95, 96, 97, and I want to say 90, end of 98. One of the 98 races I went to. I want to say end of 98 because Dad was with Fedewa. Dad will be with Tim Fedewa's team at Base Motorsports with Birdie and Randy after this Hickory race, Talladega, which I covered last week. It's in my VODs.
Barrier there in 77 on the outside. You can see he's up for the challenge here on the outside. Seems to be running right along with the preferred line, which is the bottom part of the track.
Grubb, a regular at the late model stock car division at the Southside Speedway in Richmond, Virginia over the years. He's also run at Mason Day's beautiful track, the South Boston Speedway.
This is a very unusual racetrack. Uphill on the back straightaway, downhill on the front straightaway. The corners here, if you try to overrun them, you heat the tires and you really get in trouble.
It's not quite as pronounced in the uphill, downhill, Larry, maybe as North Wilkesboro was.
No, it's not as pronounced, but you know, you've got to gear the car accordingly for both straightaways, and they are pulling probably the lowest gear here that they pull at any racetracks because this thing is a very small racetrack. You're turning all the time. You're off the gas, low RPMs, turn a lot of RPMs at the end of the straightaway.
My favorite shot, that's down there where you can see the car. You can see them leaning, trying to get as much pressure on the right side so that car holds tight through the corner. You can see the backs of these cars jump around a little bit. Very exciting to watch from that camera angle.
Now, I know everybody that races at Hickory are really, really leery about repaving it. Now, this is, let's see, 98, so 97, 96, 95, 94, 93. 93 or 92, they repaved it. And see, it came back really great. Now, it has not been repaved still today, I think, since that 1992, I think. Maybe I'm wrong, but it really became okay after the repave. I know y'all are just really afraid of it, but it might be time to think about it.
He always runs well here at the Hickory Speedway.
And as we had from the pits a while ago, they changed that car entirely overnight. Seems to really hit a good combination. Hermie Sadler on the move.
20th place is the number 3 car on the inside lane. That's Dale Earnhardt Jr. Just does get in front of the 80 of Mark Krogh.
Talked to Tony Uri and them this morning. They haven't been happy with that race car. Made a lot of changes this morning as well. A little bit optimistic, but question a lot of things have been going on this weekend.
47, Andy Santerre trying the outside in a former Terry Labonte car.
Oh, little contact there.
The 56.
Oh, easy.
Trying to
It's in front of LaJoy. LaJoy has not yet logged a lap, but they are only in, I believe, early May.
Ahead of Randy LaJoy are the 2 Crows. And that's Mike Pope in the Slim Jim car sneaking into the mix there.
It's 3 races before the May Charlotte, so it might even be late April. Boy, that'd be cold there. Sitting on those concrete bleachers up there. That is one race I went and I sat in the bleachers.
But the leaders are getting real close to him already early.
There weren't many, but that was
There's
one.
the situation up front, just 0.2 of a second between Robert Presley and Ed Barrier.
I think right now Ed Barrier is a little bit quicker than Presley. He's able to hold a little tighter line.
In 95, I scored for L.W. Miller. One race at Hickory in 96. I would have scored for Lake if they had a second.
Just can't keep his car down. Ed Barrier
I
got a
don't
little bit
think
loose there
I
on
did.
turn 4. Has to fall
I
back
scored
in
for
line.
somebody,
Ed's
though.
car's looking a little better
Probably
on
just
the bottom than
L.W.
Robert
Miller.
Presley's.
But I was just because I live so close, I
Ed
went
Barrier
to
in
Hickory
his 207th career
a couple of
NASCAR
times
Busch
a year
Series
for
start.
like 96, 97. And I know I went one time to watch my dad race with Fedewa, so I'm thinking it's
Good battle
98.
also.
The second race, the
That
last
is Andy
race.
Houston subbing
Maybe.
for Jimmy Foster. Glenn Allen in the 99 car. They're running 8th and 9th right now with Elton Sawyer in that number 38 Barbasol car right behind as well. Good scramble.
I'll pull up my database and check on Tim's record and see what up that in 98 there was a second Hickory race.
That is a camera that is on the jack stud. You know where they put the jack under the car and start jacking it up? We have some cameras down low at that level as well to give you an eyeball look at the racetrack. I guess you'd call it jack stud cam or just stud cam if you like to be on a first name basis.
Buddy, I looked at the 38 car. I talked to Joey Knuckles. So that race car, they're pulling a unique transmission combination with that car. He's pulling an overdrive transmission. And what Elton does when the tires is fresh, say the first 15 or 20 laps, he pulls third gear. When he feels like he's starting to spin the rear tires, he slides it in overdrive and actually has a little bit higher gear to keep from spinning the tires later on in the run.
The key to this racetrack is coming off the corner. If you don't spin the rear wheels, you can really fly around this place. And if you start overdriving the car, spinning the rear wheels, the back of the car gets totally uncontrollable.
ASA champion Kevin Sawinski in the number 89 car being lapped by Robert Presley. Matt Hunter in the Stanley car in his first ever visit to Hickory, also about to go a lap down. We've been clean and green so far, but it is early. Folks, don't forget, coming up at the 50-lap mark, you want to jot down who is leading this Galaxy Foods 300 and enter the take-home a piece of the action sweepstakes. You've got a chance to win a trip to the Winston, NASCAR's All-Star Race, or the MBNA Platinum 400 coming up on the 18th. So stick around for that at lap number 50. Battle for the lead is a good one, as the leader, Robert Presley, is trying to put a lap on the man with whom we are riding, Randy LaJoy, and you've also got Ed Berrier right there in the mix in the 77.
Ed Berrier made a tremendous run on Robert Presley there in the 59, got all the way up there and run right in the back of the 74 car of LaJoy, so they almost had an incident just now.
Presley got a good run off turn 4, got to the outside. LaJoy's not ready to give up, though. He keeps fighting on the inside there, trying to stay on the lead lap. See him dive it down into turn 3 right there, just trying to hope a caution comes out and he can be in front of Presley when it does come.
He's not going to be able to hold him. You can see LaJoy's car, the 74, get sideways just a little bit when he got back in the front.
You're listening to Randy LaJoy's radio. And they have finally bypassed Randy LaJoy. Very honestly, folks, there have not been a whole lot of smiles around that 74 bunch all weekend long. They've really been scratching their collective heads trying to figure out exactly what's amiss.
You know, practice time is so limited at a racetrack like this. It's almost like if you come in and you're struggling, you almost never figure it out.
Yeah.
If you come in here, you're good, then you're good for the entire weekend.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., if you're curious, running back in 20th position as you see some of the beating and the banging in the middle of the field, just behind Little Dale. Glenn Jarrett, what are you hearing from down there?
Well, Eli, the points leader started off in 16th position, I believe. He's dropped 4 spots. The car's a little tight. However, he has started running a little better in the last few laps. The cars on the racetrack that I can see down here, turns 1 and 2, are very, very loose. Andy Houston has dropped all the way out of the top 15. Here's Steve.
One car on the move is Joe Bessie.
I was just looking up on the database. This might have been the last Hickory race for Busch, because if it is, I think I am sitting in the stands there in turn 1, just out of camera view, kind of high up. Might have been why I went there if it was going to be one of the last ones. It wasn't on the schedule the following year.
He had to start at the back of the field because he is in that backup, and now he is about to go a lap down in 26th position if Presley can bypass him. Last year's winner, Dick Trickle. We're riding with him right now. He's in 9th, buddy.
You can see right now he's teaching a lot of these young kids. Good luck trouble off turn 4.
Andy Houston. Houston, we have troubles in turn 4.
Caution is out.
It is for the first time today. Listening into Andy Houston's bunch, tell him to go on. 43.
Pull that quarter panel off that left rear. Let's take a couple rounds of bite out of it.
You can hear them talking to the pit crew there. They actually analyze what they have to do to the cars when they make their stops.
Let's raise the track bar up on it there. It's from the center off is where it's bad. And pressure the center off.
Put some gas
You hear
in. We'll just get that
him
quarter
talking
pound
about
sucker off.
taking
We'll hold
bite
it
out,
down.
raising the track bar. The car is tight. It's not turning in the middle of the corner, so they're wanting to take wedge out of it, raise that roll center in the rear. That'll hopefully help the car turn in the middle of the corner.
Let's take another look, guys, and see if we saw the 56 limping around too. Jeff Krogh. Let's see if he was involved in this altercation. There he is. Yeah, there was contact. I don't know.
Was, yeah. Andy Houston there got touched just a little bit by the 56 car.
Although from the picture we don't know if Houston maybe was letting up after going wide and Krogh tacked him. We'll all find out together. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
And Elliott Sadler, his crew was really happy that caution came out. He's in the pits right now for a chassis adjustment. He's reporting the car is very, very loose. They came in to tighten it up, but that caution came out just before the leader, Robert Presley, was about to overlap him. So he went ahead and came in. Now he had nothing to lose. He's the last car on the lead lap.
Now, folks, remember, as was the case here a year ago, there's an unusual pit stop strategy being used today because of the tightness of the pit road. We'll talk about those competition cautions when we come back, but there will be some mandatory stops today. We'll explain it all as we continue from the Hickory Motor Speedway. We're coming right back. CNN Motorsports live coverage of the Galaxy Foods 300 is being brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. At Napa, we keep America running. And by Super 8 Motels, over 1,600 throughout Canada and the United States. We are working the first caution flag of the afternoon. Cautions normally aplenty here at Hickory. Let's take a look at what happened again in turns 3 and 4. From an in-car look.
Well, that took all the question marks about whether there's any contact or not. Jeff Krogh got right in the back of Andy Houston, turned him around.
That was from the jack cam, if you will. Glenn, a lot of work going on down there on the Elliott Sadler car. What'd they do?
Well, Eli, when they came in, as I told you, he was reporting very, very loose. They all, in addition to putting some wedge in the car, they also jumped up under the right rear and took a rubber out of the right rear spring to soften it up, hoping the car get a little better traction. Everybody down here is reporting loose, loose, loose. Hermie Sadler's loose. Mark Green's loose. Buckshot Jones loose. Only guy that's tight is Dale Earnhardt Jr. Here's Steve.
And apparently Steve Burns checking on a story down on the pit lane. We'll be getting back to him in just a moment. Before the break, we mentioned the fact that there are going to be competition cautions. The tightness of pit road is such here at Hickory that the teams are going to stop at lap 100 and at lap 200 to make mandatory stops during which they will not lose any position. There you see who's where. Are we surprised that Robert Presley has led every race so far, or every lap here so far? Not really. He's done awfully well over the years, and short track wins. He's been a specialist.
Watch this restart. Randy LaJoie would love to get back in the lead lap. He gets a good jump off the corner with Robert Presley, trying to get back in the lead lap.
Got to run off turn 2. He needs another quick caution flag, because I don't know if this car is good enough right now to stay out in front of Robert Presley.
Oh, he gets a little assistance there. As you can see, Robert Presley wants that lead. He wants to be in front of this fight. Randy LaJoie wants to stay in lead lap. Another time they make contact.
Looking good. Clear all around.
Spotted for Randy LaJoie, saying it's clear all around right now.
Randy's running smart right here right now. I don't know how long it'll last. He's not really burying the car down in the corner, but he's holding that bottom groove, and that way he's got to make Robert pass him on the outside.
Field standings today across the top of the screen being brought to you by MCI. A lot of good sideways battling on the racetrack, Steve Burns.
Andy Houston came in. You heard Darrell Bryan over the radio communicating. They wanted to make a chassis adjustment. The sheet metal damage isn't too bad. But before they could get the lead wrench out, Andy Houston took off. They don't know if the car is going to be able to handle as well as they like.
So that's the update from the Andy Houston pit area. Riding with him now, midway down the back straightaway. Robert Presley, the race leader, still trying to put LaJoie out down here.
You see a little bit of smoke there. Randy's doing everything he can to make that car as wide as he can, try to stay on this lead lap.
I can tell you one thing, short track racing, by all imagination, is a contact sport, as you can see.
While they've been doing this, Ed Berry, he's done closed back in on him. He saw him bumping a little bit and had to back off just a little bit. Spotter just on, but driving this race car for Randy right now.
Presley.
Outside with a follower.
Presley has to go. Ed Barrier's closing in the 77, and just behind them,
Phil Parsons.
Mike Dillon's moved in there to 72 and third.
And Phil Parsons as well.
Like Randy's just about lost the battle here. He's not ready to give up. The old car just maybe it run off those cold tires for just a little bit.
Riding now with Phil Parsons. And you know,
big time wreck on the back straightaway.
Everything is blocked. Now, Earnhardt Jr., you've got the 4 is Dennis Setzer. You've got Matt Hutter in the 36. 32 is Jason Jarrett.
Randy LaJoy still trying to get going. He knows if he can get back around, he'll stay on the lead lap here, and I believe he's going to do it.
And Andy Santerre was also in that mess.
A lot of damage to Randy's car, but he did stay on the lead lap there, so that was a good break for him, but a bad break for a lot of cars there. There you see the 17 car, a lot of damage there on the front end of him.
Matt Hutter there, the 36, first time here. There's Earnhardt Jr. There's Andy Santerre in the 47. We have had a swap in the lead. Barrier did come back to the stripe, and there's old Mike McLaughlin using up the car.
That's the good side of the car. It's torn up twice as bad on the right side as he come by the front grandstand.
This is the suspension camera underneath the Stanley Tools machine for Matt Hutter. You can just see the smoke bubbling out there, Larry. What exactly are we looking at?
We're looking at the rear suspension here. You see the rear sway bar that has Stanley wrote on it right there. And again, I think a lot of the cars maybe that's running that rear sway bar, it's kind of a culprit there because that will make a car very loose up off the corner. It'll help it turn through the center, but it definitely will make it loose off the corner. There you see he's made a stop in the pits, and they're evaluating the damage. And Steve Burns, what can you tell us about Dennis Setzer's damage?
Well, I can tell you it's in bad shape, Larry. The left front end is pushed in severely. They're pushing him into his pit stall. Remember, Dennis Setzer won here in 1994. He's filling in for the injured Jeff Purvis today. They're not moving. Crew Chief Johnny Allen looking at the team. They're not moving real fast right now, which is a bad sign. Heavy damage to Dennis Setzer. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
And we've moved down here into Mike McLaughlin's pits. We're looking at the car. There's a lot of damage. They're working on the right front of the car in particular right now, and the left front. He's got oil. There's an oil line loose. There's a lot of oil off the car. Elliott Sadler comes in. There's oil everywhere on the left front tire. I don't think they're going to be able to get this car back out there, guys. There's a big mess down here. Dale Earnhardt comes in. He's got big damage to the left front. He's reporting that the car is overheating. He's afraid that he may have ruptured the radiator and it lost the water.
Who didn't get in the wreck?
Toe in out on the car, so they got a lot of work to do as well. Elliott Sadler being pushed backwards and nearly collides with Tracy Leslie. He's coming by. Elliott's car is stalled. They're going to have to push it off. So, wow, wholesale damage and action down here.
You know, the big problem here when you have damage and you're on pit road, you have to maintain 30 miles an hour, and you don't have time to work on your race car. The time you working on it, the pace car's there, and you got to get out on the racetrack again to keep them going a lap down.
Let's take a look at what happened now from a number of different angles. This is the backstretch.
This is off of turn 2, coming down the backstretch. There you see the 36 car already sideways. Mike Cope just evading damage all the way down in the infield. There you see the 3 car, Dale Earnhardt Jr. sideways. There you see the 4 car, Dennis Setzer.
Shane Hall, the 85, also involved.
This is riding with Matt Hutter. He gets hit from behind. You see him going around, smoke flying everywhere, being collected by other cars there. You can see the 4 there, Dennis Setzer up against the wall, Andy Santerre in the 47.
And there you see that Lance Snacks machine.
Hutter tried to grab a gear and he was just a second too late.
At all possible. Ed Barrier is the race leader. We're back to Hickory in a moment.
Race fans, you make the call. New LCI residential long-distance customers receive 30 minutes of free domestic calling and the World Card Plus calling card featuring participating drivers. Don't delay. Call now 1-888-TEAM-LCI.
Hope you've had a chance already to enjoy country.com, your personal source for all things country. From race cars to country stars, you can connect to country.com. That's your personal source for all things country. Here's Randy LaJoy coming down pit road. You see that sheet metal extending out of the right front of his automobile? Here's how it happened.
This is over in turn 2 right here. There you see is to the inside of the barrier.
Robert Presley gets in the back of the 59 car. That's when he did all the damage. You could see it pull that Valent away
Yeah,
from the front
Randy
of
took
that
his
car.
run and didn't quite
Just
have
a close look at it to see if it was going to be flapping around
spotter
or what.
error.
But Glenn, they
Should have
obviously
said
had
he's
to pull
looking
that
his
sheet metal
nose.
off and tape it down.
Absolutely, Eli. NASCAR made them come back in.
Dad
They told him
is
that thing
there
was flapping.
with Birdie
When the
because it
race
was in
restarted, they were going to
between
pull him in.
Kenny
and so he's had to
Wallace
come in and
and,
go ahead and did it under caution.
or he
Now
could
he's
have
still
been
on the lead
Kenny
lap.
Wallace at
Dale
Charlotte.
Jr. In the meantime, I told you he had a heating
This was
problem. Once they
Winston
brought him
weekend,
in,
I
got all the
believe.
sheet metal pulled off of it. That part of it's okay. However, the car is towed way, way out, so he's got a real problem. Here's Steve.
No, I'm
Glad our
wrong.
hometown
This
heroes
was a
aren't faring
weekend
too
that
well.
the
Andy Houston's
cup
already had a
cars were
problem.
somebody else,
Now,
somewhere
Dennis
else,
Setzer sits
Texas.
inside the retaining wall
Dad
of pit
would have
road.
been
They've
with
taken the hood off.
Phil-
Almost all the
wait,
sheet
no,
metal on the front.
Phil
They're going
McCutcheon.
to try and change the radiator to get him back out. And
Whether
also,
he'd be
Jason
like
Jarrett has
working
been
on the
pit
car or
road
not, he would
repeatedly.
fly with
His
Phil
damage
to
is
the track.
cosmetic, but I believe
They
he's lost
enjoyed
a lap.
chat.
Jason Jarrett in a car that was purchased from Mike Laughlin. Brad Loney used to drive that car. And as a matter of fact, even to this moment, underneath that white skin on the machine, it has a green roll cage. They've never did change the colors from the days when Brad Loney drove it. Nope, never has a Ford won a Busch Series race here at the Hickory Motor Speedway. Is today the day?
Wow, that's
Be just
something.
fine for Ed Berrier. He's in a Taurus. We're back
That's
in
a
a moment.
very weird stat.
TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Galaxy Foods 300 is being brought to you by the 1,900 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And by the Home Depot, where low prices are just the beginning. Welcome back, everybody. You know, we all know
No.
that Buddy Baker is independently wealthy, but even
Chronologically,
so,
we
even
went
Buddy would love
backwards
to have the Speedy Dry concession
because we had
here
already
today.
done
Glenn, where's
Charlotte.
all this oil coming from that they're putting Speedy Dry down for?
Well, guys, remember when I told you about Mike McLaughlin and all the oil I saw? Well, I just saw 5 empty quart bottles
Yeah,
of oil.
see, 'cause the
down
red
here in
ones
Houston.
we've already
That's how much
covered.
oil he has dropped on the racetrack
This
and in the
one
pit. That's
here,
where it's all coming from. They're still working over here
I
off of
watched
turn
a
2 where
few
Mike got in
weeks
that wreck. So it burst an oil line or a cooler or something. But it's a big, big mess down here. Most of the
So I
guys
don't
are
know
cleaning
that
up
they go back
the
to
mess that's
Hickory
made
or
right now.
not.
Not even worried about their cars.
My
Steve?
last thought is,
Well, Glenn,
did
Matt Kenseth, who won earlier this
possibly he
year,
not
Rockingham is in 10th position
qualify?
right now, but they're reporting some trouble in the
Myrtle
gearbox.
Beach.
Kenseth does not know if the car is stuck in 3rd or 4th gear. They might have to
Milwaukee,
bring him
Myrtle
in,
Beach.
and that would be a tough blow to lose that much track position.
Matt Kenseth, our winner at Rockingham earlier this year. While we are under caution, how about a history lesson about the Hickory
Which is
Motor Speedway?
IRP.
Brought to you by Glenn Jarrett and by AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts.
the Vilbur?
At .363 miles, Hickory
I know
Speedway
Food
may
City
be
was
the shortest
Bristol
racetrack the
again.
NASCAR Busch Series visits each year,
Darlington.
but it is by far the longest on history and tradition. This speedway was first opened in 1951 as a dirt
Richmond.
track. It ran that way continuously until
Rockingham,
1967 when
probably,
it was
right?
paved for the very first time.
Dover.
Amazingly enough, that paving job lasted 25 years when the track was resurfaced the first time in the early 1990s. Now, new track owner John Huffman tells us that he will once again resurface the track at the end of the 1998 season. A lot
Okay.
of other changes are in store for Hickory Speedway.
Let's hear
as
that
well.
one more
All
time,
new
'cause I was
grandstands, new
busy
bleachers,
looking.
An additional 5,000 seats will be added, as well as more.
Let me start
Earlier
that
this
again.
year. While we are under caution, how about a history lesson about the Hickory Motor
Yes,
Speedway?
let's hear this.
Brought to you by Glenn Jarrett and by AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts.
At .363 miles, Hickory Speedway may be the shortest
This is like
racetrack
really
the NASCAR
important
Busch
stuff,
Series
right?
visits each year, but it is by far the longest on history
Here I
and
am.
tradition. This speedway was first opened in 1951 as a dirt track. It ran that way continuously until 1967 when it was paved for the very first time. Amazingly enough, that paving job lasted 25 years when
Wow.
the track was resurfaced the first time in the early 1990s. Now, new track owner John Huffman tells us that he will once again resurface the track at the end of the 1998 season. A lot of other changes are in store for Hickory Speedway as well. All new grandstands, new bleachers, an additional 5,000 seats will be added, as well as more and newer VIP booths. The list of drivers and other people that got their start at Hickory Speedway is mighty impressive as well. Take a look at this list.
The
Names
feet
like
that walked
Junior
on
Johnson,
them.
Ned Jarrett, Morgan Shepherd, Bobby Isaac,
Places
Dale
is
Earnhardt, Dale Jarrett,
amazing.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jason Jarrett. The list goes on and on and on. Not only drivers, but crew chiefs and NASCAR technical inspectors as well. I tell you, it is mighty impressive. It's no wonder that the history and tradition here at Hickory Speedway is so rich. And I believe that with the young guys coming out of this place right now, it will continue on in past the year 2000, maybe even in 2051. Be neat to celebrate a 100-year anniversary at Hickory Speedway, won't it?
Okay, just to say for our family, we were at Hickory Motor Speedway when my dad, as a championship crew chief with Joe Nemechek in the Texas Pete car, won the championship. They finished 6th in the race. The car was beat to hell. It was such an exciting race when they won the championship. And it showed the grit and integrity that real little young team. I mean, my dad put that team together with people that had never worked in racing in NASCAR before. Hired 2 great kids out of Michigan from the short tracks and stuff like that. I mean, he put together a stellar team, not because anyone was any better than anyone else in the garage, or not that they didn't work any harder than anyone else in the garage, but they communicated, or they gelled, or y'all know when you get that team that you couldn't do anything really wrong. You know what I mean? And God, I wonder what they would have become if that original team stayed together. Because it was just one of those magic teams where everything gelled, like a Gordon Evernham situation. You know, the funding, this and that matters. But yeah, that's just my own family take, as we won the championship at that track. My sister was there. My mother was there. I was in New England. We were also in 1992 racing our own stuff up there. And so it was like a great time. It was like a great time in racing. And it's the old model. Really need to be examined again. It made racing fun. But that's my 2 cents. That's my rant for today. Let's listen to the rest of Hickory.
It really would be awfully neat to see that happen. There you see how the point leaders are doing. Dale Earnhardt Jr. 25th, Elliott Sadler 27th, Mike McLaughlin in 29th. And Glenn, before we go
I'll
back
jump
to
out of
you
the chat
talking about
again.
history, I want to take a second here on behalf of the entire TNN Motorsports family, and certainly the NASCAR family as well, to extend our condolences to the family of Mary Fendrick Holman, who passed away yesterday. She was the widow of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway owner Tony Holman, the grandmother of Tony George, who now heads the track and, of course, the Indy Racing League. And it doesn't matter whether you're
I got to see that woman in person there in 96 when I went to Indywood Lake.
Fathers and families of racing, and Mary Fendrick Holman
Just
passing
like
away
from a
yesterday is a
distance.
major loss to all of us in motorsports. We offer our condolences. 1 lap to go. Back to green. Glenn Jarrett.
I saw Smokey Unick in real life at a distance too at Charlotte. Just pretty incredible, like all the whispers. That's Smokey, that's Smokey, that's Smokey, all through the pit area. It's pretty amazing. Like, I have weird superheroes. These are my superheroes. Smokey Unick, Fireball Roberts, Richard Petty. They were all my heroes. David Pearson.
Took over the lead from Robert Presley at lap 60. Ed Berrier last lap.
I don't know why.
On August 31st of 1990 at the Orange County Speedway in Rougemont, North Carolina. August 31, 1990.
Rougemont is Orange County Speedway, and they do still run modified races, I believe, or at least Smart Tour and modified. Might be one of them combined.
And we just walked into the crew chief.
Dad worked with that Detroit gasket car early '96, set up his shop through the winter with Mike Dillon. My son got to work as a teenager in the shop helping out and lending a helping hand. It was a good time. I got some photos.
What is Mike saying about the way the car's handling?
Yeah, he says we're pretty good right now. We're just trying to be patient and have some left for that last 50 laps.
All right, thanks, Dean.
So that's the update on pit road. The field will again get the 1-to-go signal.
I'm going to tell you, I almost swear my dad's wearing a Kleenex shirt standing on the back of that trailer just then. I just real quickly caught a glance in it. You know how kids know their dad. It's like, wait a minute, that might be dad.
And the Kleenex team, he'll be moving on to other opportunities after this day is done.
Say that again, say that again, say that again. What?
So that's the update on pit road. The field will again get the 1-to-go signal. Hey, speaking of crew chiefs, one thing we've not yet mentioned, there has been a change in crew chiefs around the NASCAR Busch Series. Donnie Richardson is here. He's now the new crew chief for Mike Cope and the Slim Jim team. We also mentioned earlier that this is the final race for Butch Enders as the crew chief for Tim Fedewa and the Kleenex team. He'll be moving on to other opportunities after this day is done.
That's when my dad stepped in, was right after Hickory, but I swear I just saw my dad in a Kleenex shirt standing on the back, like not in the pit area, but up on the race truck, the base race truck. So he might have been just helping out, giving advice or whatever. But I don't know Butch Enders, nor I don't know if he was someone my dad would be assisting or not. I just don't know. But it wasn't like my dad was getting his job. My dad was just getting a job because Butch was leaving.
You see all the dust from that oil dry, that just shows you how much they actually put down on this race.
He won 2 Busch races with Fedewa after coming there. I think Fedewa was like 15th in points or so right now. Maybe a little bit better. I think he gets a good race here. But I know that Dad brought him into like finishing 7th or 8th in points. I know it was top 10. I can't remember what though. Which is basically what Dad has every time he had full control of a car. In Cup, they finished 7th or 8th. In Bouchard in Cup. Then he finished 6th in 91 with Joe. 1st in 92 with Joe. 5th in 93 with Joe. And then Joe went on to Meineke. Dad helped a little, but there was a lot of chief and not many Indians. And he backed up to continue the part-time Busch Series runs. They were doing a half schedule with Joe if they had combined races for Cup. Because Joe was more focused on the Meineke 41. That Grissom will end up driving, and Dad will work on that again a little bit. And
what I'm seeing right now is when he comes into
29 channel up in 95. After Dad leaves Moroso, see, Dad's like a suitcase Vic. I call him more like briefcase Vic. Because he really would just take his briefcase and bag of tricks and go sit up someone's front end. And it was really cool. He did show that bag of tricks in his interview that he had Friday from the North Turn restaurant, Ponce Inlet, Florida. He went on Buzz McKim's Legends of Racing Radio show, which is on Facebook and YouTube. Now, I know the YouTube sound quality is really low, so I put on the closed captions. So that helps to kind of get the gist of what's going on. But my hearing is bad anyway from 64 years of racing.
Tell him right there was 10 laps. He was saying to the halfway, but actually it was to the first competition yellow, which is what these cars are looking for, lap 100, to be able to change those tires.
So they were saying this repave is now 98.
Right there, he hits the wall very hard down into turn 3.
Has this been repaved since?
Now he realizes everything's rubbing. He has to get into the pits.
But you know what happened there? There was 3
Or are
wide,
they currently running on the 98? How could that be?
There's second and third spot now.
Because they just paved it in 92. And now they're doing a repave in 98. Oh, shoot. Robert Presley's around last. Oh, Jesus. That's an ouch.
Caution, lap number 94.
Mark Krogh is involved. The 80 car is
I love this track. It's less than an hour away. I want to go there really bad when they have another big show. I know it's the last points race, but the people like Landon's going to be on Cars Tour up at Sobo. So I will wait until I can catch a race. I think if things go right, maybe my goal can be North Wilkesboro, which is less than an hour away. My God, I'm so... Let me see.
Somehow he kept it out of it. I'll tell you what, he's got my vote for the best move of maybe the year so far. What a great save.
But terrible luck for Phil Parsons. You can see from the in-car camera and from this camera angle, he has tremendous damage to that car, being in the wrong place at the right time.
Doesn't matter what camera you use to look at old Phil there. He's got himself major problems. Here it is again. Let's take a look at what happened as they went off towards turn 1. Again, 72, Mike Dillon, 59, Robert Presley.
Front straightaway, 72 there. Mike Dillon gets touched by the 59, Robert Presley. That spins both cars out of control. Dillon makes a great save. Robert Presley goes around, and behind him you can see people just stacking up. There's Phil Parsons,
that's
Mark
what happened
Crow.
to Phil. 52, humping on the brakes there. Kevin Grubb did a good job there. And old Phil Parsons, he was running in 4th. There's the 6 of Joe Bessie. He was involved.
Dillon comes down. Presley gets into the left rear. That's never going to change. You can show 500 times. That's contact getting in the corner.
Look at that. Bessie goes through.
Oh, Bessie goes right in the back.
Can't find an opening. Watch Jason Jarrett there down low, the white car. Just takes to the apron of the racetrack, and he scoots through. Tony Stewart's up there by the wall, the 44. And now from Dick Trickle's bumper cam, let's take a look. Or at least from Phil's bumper cam. That's Phil Parsons.
Phil getting it in the front and the rear. A lot of damage to that automobile.
Tough how that happens. Some years guys miss all those accidents. Some years they get into those accidents. It just happens. Caution for the 3rd time today. We're at lap 96 here on TNN Motorsports.
Radio communications are provided by Racing Radios. For all your business and racing communications needs, as well as scanners and frequency lists, call on Racing Radios at 1-800-669-1522.
Welcome back. We are remaining under caution. We are going to be opening the pit road the next time by at lap 100 for the competition yellow. Because of the tightness of pit road, as we told you, everybody will be able to pit at lap number 100. The way they're running right now, you've got Ed Berry, you see, showing the way. And those are the fellows who have managed to avoid the problems. One gentleman who's always managed to avoid the problems here was a longtime NASCAR champion and a track champion here at Hickory a couple of years. Jack Ingram, the Iron Man, is with us. Jack, good to see you, and congratulations on being picked the Grand Marshal today.
Thank you very much.
You kind of miss being out there, don't you?
Well, certainly at Hickory Speedway.
I bet you do.
I'm glad to see Jack has a face.
Here.
I always looked at the back of his helmet.
I hear you. Let's watch these pit stops. We'll talk to Jack again in a second. Ed Barrier is in. Robert Presley. Let's go to the pit lane.
And Robert Presley, heavy damage on all 4 corners of the 59 car. Sheet metal is rubbing on the left rear. We're taking a look at that. They're trying to pull that off.
All the crew's going to work. Now remember, folks, you're not going to lose a position here. You come in, you take your service, you get back on the racetrack. We lost Steve Burns' mic there, if you're curious where he disappeared to. He dropped off into the hinterlands there for a moment. But look at all his work, Larry Mack.
Yeah, and again, I want to explain this competition caution here at lap 100. It's going to be for 5 laps. You don't lose a position. You can sit in the pits. You can change your tires. You can make your adjustments. You know, but you don't have to worry about doing it in a hurry. And this is a good rule. 2 years ago, we saw pit stops here in the caution, and the biggest problem was some of the tire changers run out of air hose because they couldn't reach their car because they was 3 deep out on pit road. Steve, give us an update from down there.
Well, now that the microphone's back and working, Robert Presley, as we said, heavy sheet metal damage, and Joe Bessie, the right front, is pushed in. As we said earlier, they've wrecked 4 race cars in the past 3 weeks. They've got the Sawzall out trying to cut the sheet metal off. Let's check in now with Glenn Jarrett.
Hey, thanks, Steve. I'm down here on the low end with Randy LaJoie, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Elliott Sadler just left, Mike McLaughlin. All these cars that have been involved in these crashes. I'm going to tell you something. I used to be in the car business. If they'd have brought these cars on my lot, I wouldn't have traded for them. They look a mess down here. But Earnhardt Jr. is making a panhard bar adjustment. They checked the right front. The spring rubber was gone out of it, so they're having to replace that. Panhard adjustment for Randy LaJoie as well. They did find the problem with Elliott Sadler on the miss. It was an ignition problem. They switched boxes, so he's okay. He's down and away. Mike McLaughlin, well, they put more oil in it. He seems to be okay now. They stopped the flow. So a lot of work, a lot of stuff for the guys to do down here. Biggest thing they're trying to do is just get these cars through the end of this race, Eli.
And they're all thankful they're not out there battling Jack Ingram because, you know, Jack could be out there winning this thing. Jack, what are you doing now? What are you involved in?
I got a couple of NASCAR Winston Racing Series late model stocks. Bo Hunter drives one of them. We're starting a new guy. He's 16 years old in a couple of weeks. Bo won a big race at Greenville last week, 150 laps, his first big race. And we're excited about that. And, of course, we come over here to be the Grand Marshal. And, of course, we left to come to Hickory Speedway. Buddy Baker's talking about looking at the back. I come over here one time to watch a race. He's driving for Harry Hyde. And they said Buddy Baker couldn't drive on short race tracks. He showed them all the way here that time in a Winston Cup race, then called Grand National. And I had a high opinion of Buddy's driving after that. I saw him win on super speedways, but he showed them the way here that night.
Jack Ingram, always a pleasure. Take care. Great to see you.
Thank you very much.
Jack Ingram, the Iron Man of stock car racing. He's our Grand Marshal here at Hickory. Ed Berrier is the leader. We're coming right back. Back in 1990, the NASCAR Busch Series headed north to christen a new track. Since then, the New Hampshire International Speedway has seen some great finishes, like last year's last lap battle to the line between Steve Park and winner Mike McLaughlin. CNN takes you back to the Loudon track Saturday, May 9th, the Come Out 200 at 1:30 Eastern. Hope you can make your plans to join us at New Hampshire. The lights have come back on atop the safety car again. Not quite set to go back to green, but we do have time to check in with Steve Burns.
And with Steve Plattenberger, Robert Presley's crew chief, we saw lots of damage. How bad are you?
I can't understand what you're saying.
Saw lots of damage. How bad are you?
Not bad. It's mostly sheet metal knocked the left front end and knocked the crush panels out, but we taped it all up and said it'll be fine. We'll try to get the next 100, see what we got then.
Of course, Robert Presley finishing a career best third in Texas this past Sunday in the NASCAR
Steve
Winston Cup race
Plattenberger will end up going to the 47 team when it becomes ST Motorsport.
With a lot of sheet metal damage, and you know, as long as you can get it cut away from the tires, aerodynamics on the sheet metal,
so now in 98
the
he's
biggest
gone
thing you see with these
to
cars
the
that's got the front end
59.
caved in is making sure that their radiator's still good and clear, because as warm as it is here, as much traffic as you have at Hickory, sometimes overheating becomes an issue when the front end's caved in.
Maybe that was this.
That's Larry McReynolds, crew chief
for a
Dale
while on
Earnhardt
that
on the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. Of course, you can keep up with Dale and Larry and everybody else
Presley
in the world of
was
NASCAR
there a long
at
time
that computer
before.
address, www.nascar.com. It is NASCAR Online,
Like
your
in that
24-hour
92-ish.
NASCAR Garage Pass. And I'm telling you, folks, even everybody in the business, when you're at the hotel or what have you, you log on to see what's the latest doings in the world of NASCAR. So check it out as well, NASCAR Online.
Speaking of logging it on, these guys are fixing to get it on again as they come down to get the green flag. You can see them going into turn 3, entering turn 4 any moment now.
The master of the Segway.
Notice this restart here was a single file restart after the competition yellow, so they don't have any lap cars to deal with. There you see Robert Presley going right to work on Mike Dillon right from the beginning here.
That is for second spot. The leader is Ed Berrier, who, as we told you earlier, hasn't led since August of 1990 at the Orange County Speedway. What's Robert Presley having to deal with and Mike Dillon now, Glenn?
Well, basically, the same thing he was dealing with before the caution, except they all got fresh tires on. Dillon's crew told me they did not change a thing except the 4 tires, gave him a pat on the back, congratulated him on that great save, sent him back out. No changes at all. You know, one comment I got to make, this is a 300-lap race. Look at what we've dealt with in the first 100 laps. Will there be any cars left? Here's Steve.
And Joe Bessie, we talked about his misfortunes. They continue here at Hickory. He's on pit road. We're going to have to replace the radiator on the 6 car of Joe Bessie.
this battle for the lead. McLaughlin dragging some sheet metal out there, and he's going to be coming back onto the pit lane to get rid of that sheet metal.
Eli, one of the incredible things is Robert Presley spun completely around and did not get hit by any cars except just a glancing blow. Normally, when you create the problem that he did by making contact there on Dillon, you would expect him to really get beat up.
You know, Eli, buddy, if I'm a crew chief right now for Ed Barrier or Mike Dillon or Robert Presley, I believe what I do is like, look, guys, we got a good race car here. We know at lap 200 we're going to be back in here for final adjustments and 4 fresh tires. Let's just try to watch these laps wind down. Be patient with lap traffic because that's going to be happening here shortly. And let's try to be around for that last 100 laps.
And I tell you, I can't hear you.
Oh, you cut the radio off with you, buddy. It's like reading the gauges, right?
You got it.
Oh, I love it. The leader, Ed Barrier in the 77. That's Mike Dillon in the 72. Right behind them, you've got Robert Presley. There you've got Tim Fedua, the 33, going around Jason Jarrett.
Okay, that's incoming, I think. Yep, it definitely was incoming. Hold on a minute, I'm here.
Got one cameraman, Wayne Womack, who's manning the single camera that we do have functional right now. And you see the race leader. That is Ed Barrier, the number 77 machine. He took the race lead a short while ago. Why don't we recap for you right now what you have missed? These are the pit stops taking place at the second competition caution. We left you somewhere around the halfway portion of the event. Ed Barrier had given the lead over to Mike Dillon, and Dillon held the lead until just a few laps ago when it was reassumed by Ed Barrier. We had a very brief caution for a spin. Jason Jarrett spun, brought out a caution, and Elton Sawyer, just prior to this break here at lap number 200, had a continuation of an ongoing smoking problem. He went down the pit lane at the same time that they brought out this competition caution at lap number 200. So again, we have just this one camera, so we apologize for that, but at least we've got a picture coming your way from Hickory as Larry McReynolds is still upstairs in the booth, but Buddy and I, along with our producer and director, if you hear a voice or two in the background, we've got Gary Clem directing the camera up on the roof through a two-way radio. Our producer Pam Miller is on the telephone back to master control, and Buddy Baker, like normal, you and I are sitting here knee to knee.
Watching Ed Barrier go back on the racetrack, you cannot advance by having a quick pit stop. Wherever they make a stop here, they'll file back as they were running before the caution come out for this mandatory stop. So you could see Ed Barrier having to back up and mess around in the pits. That did not hurt him at all.
We still, of course, do not have power to the entire broadcast complex, and that's why you won't right now be hearing from Glenn Jarrett or Steve Burns. Again, we stress we're in the satellite truck, and this is the one vehicle that does have a power generator. Let's give you a full rundown. This is compliments of Nelson Crozier from Nelson Specialties, who always assists us on the road here. The race leader is Ed Barrier in the number 77. The 72 machine, Mike Dillon, runs second. Robert Presley is third. Glenn Allen fourth. And fifth right now is Mike Cope. Being shown in sixth is Kevin Grubb, a super run for him. In seventh position, they're posting Hermie Sadler. Eighth is Tony Stewart. Ninth is Tim Fedua. And in 10th position, they are showing unofficially the 89 of Kevin Sawinski, although he was on the pit lane earlier, so we'll have to double check that. Of course, part and parcel to all of that's gone on here is that the scoring computers are not working at the moment, so we'll double check some of those numbers, but certainly the top 9 we just gave you through Tim Fedua are accurate rundown spots. This caution continues. We are going to come back to the friendly confines of the Starcatcher. That's TNN's uplink truck here at Hickory Motor Speedway. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. We are live at Hickory Motor Speedway. Again, if you just tuning in, the race, the Galaxy Foods 300, now at lap 202. We have only one camera working because of a major power failure here that has really knocked out every one of our broadcast trucks, with the exception of the satellite uplink, in which Buddy Baker and I are now sitting, along with our producer, director, and audio person, and assistant Nelson Crozier. We'll give you a rundown in just a moment, but on the restart, 77 is Ed Berrier, 72, as he has been running all day long, Mike Dillon a solid run, and still Robert Presley, still smoking there, buddy, as he was when we left the folks about a half hour or 40 minutes ago.
He has a problem with the left front fender on this car. Going down into turn one, it smokes right there. You can see just a little bit of smoke coming off Presley. Does not seem to hurt the performance of the car, though, as he moves in on Mike Dillon.
Now, behind these front three, we'll have Wayne Womack, our cameraman, up there. You see, these other machines are all a lap down. Then the black car there going into turn one, the Luxair car for Glenn Allen Jr., he was running in the fourth position, but slides a little bit further to the back. So there you see the field. And again, we stress this is an unusual circumstance with only one camera working, and we do want to applaud the work of our technical crew to get this one camera back online and at least give you some semblance of pictures from here at Hickory.
The 74 there,
yeah.
That's Randy LaJoy. He was
I really like this panoramic view, to be honest.
Had to make multi-stop.
You can see, you can see everything going on.
As up into the wall goes the 50 of Andy Houston. Andy Houston, who is subbing for Jimmy Foster, will bring out caution, one assumes, at lap number 207, as Houston got together with Dick Trickle up there in the corner. And we are under caution. Also involved on the scene was Jason Keller. So Houston, along with Trickle and Keller, involved in that spin that brings out the caution for the 7th time today. Again, we are with you at Hickory Motor Speedway. A bit of an unusual circumstance due to a power failure, but we muddle along. Stick with us. We're coming right back. We are back with you at Hickory Motor Speedway. Eli Gold and Buddy Baker. Larry McReynolds is still with us, but he's up in the booth where there is no power, and there just wasn't any room for him here in the satellite truck. Glenn Jarrett and Steve Burns are on pit road, but again, without the power, we can't communicate with them, so you're just stuck with me and Buddy for the next 87 laps.
Stuck we are. You can see right now they're coming down for the green. All the cars on the inside lane there are at least one lap down.
Again, we are bringing you the coverage here at lap 214 of 300. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 3, trying to get back one of the laps he was down. Ed Berrier, the 77, has never won a NASCAR Busch Series race.
Earnhardt fighting hard there in the 3 cars. They head off turn 2 and down the back straightaway. He is right now making that lap up. You see him moving a little bit wide there. Ed Berrier fighting back as they head down off turn 4.
You might have just seen Jeff Krogh making the move down pit road, a stop-and-go penalty for him for jumping the restart. And we want to thank Nelson Crozier, who's listening into the NASCAR radio and feeding us the information here in the TNN uplink truck.
See Mike Dillon there making a move on Ed Berrier coming off turn 2 as they head down the back straightaway, and Robert Presley in the 59 running in 3rd as they head down into turn 3. And on the outside there, Kevin Grubb is really doing a great job today.
Now Dale Earnhardt Jr. is on the tail end of the lead lap. He had made up a lap earlier, now made up that one. And look at Robert Presley, 4th car on the screen there, still smoking. That 59 number, the red, white, and blue car. That is 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. The 77 Berrier, 72 Dillon, and Presley still smoking.
Smoking and trucking down into turn 3. He's doing a great job. Apparently, whatever it is just sheet metal rubbing on a tire. Does not hurt the performance of the car whatsoever.
Until the sheet metal rubs through the Goodyear.
Let's don't talk about that.
No.
Hopefully, it won't do it in the few laps that we have left in this race.
Again, not to belabor the point, but if you're just tuning in and wondering what's going on, we've had a power failure here at the Hickory Motor Speedway, and as a result, we are working, Buddy Baker and I, here in the satellite truck, the Starcatcher uplink. We have just one camera available, which Wayne Womack is manning atop the grandstand. and everybody else huddled here inside the satellite truck, trying to bring you what picture we can of the finish here at Hickory. Again, Berrier 77, Dillon 72, Presley with 13 cars still on the lead lap, the last one being Dale Earnhardt Jr., the 3 car in 13th.
Right now, he would love to see a caution come out and put him at the tail end of the lead lap here. He would get to make up a lot of track position. You see right now his car is just as fast as the lead group, but he was involved in an early wreck. There's a caution.
And caution is on the speedway. You see the scoreboard there, so we're at lap 224. We're learning this as you are. Lap 224 for caution. It'll be for the 8th time here today. First caution came out when Andy Houston spun at lap number 43. And this caution is for debris on the racetrack, we are being told, and a spin up in the corner at lap 224. So the race leader is Ed Berrier in the 77. Mike Dillon is next in the 72. The 59, Robert Presley. And a super run for young Kevin Grubb, the young late model stock car driver from Southside Speedway in Richmond and the South Boston Speedway in Virginia. Super performance today.
That racetrack's really brought out some great drivers. Both Elliott and Hermie Sadler run at South Boston, and these guys are for real. I mean, Kevin Grubb has run a flawless race today. He was in a little bang up in one of the wrecks, but he didn't cause it. Running top 5 all day long.
So the caution here at lap 224. Beautiful day here in Hickory. And don't know exactly, we're just talking amongst ourselves here as to what did happen with the power failure that knocked us off the air. Obviously a problem with power being fed to the track and the broadcast compound areas. Our comrades over on radio, MRN radio, also went off the air for a lengthy stretch and have just gotten back up as well. So one of those days, but we're certainly glad you've been able and patient enough to stay with us, and hope you enjoyed NASCAR Garage that came your way during our problems here at Hickory. Getting set to go, 1 to go this time by. The lights should come off atop the safety car as they get to the start-finish line. Old Randy LaJoie, if you're just joining us, went a lap down early, and still, buddy, has not led a lap all season long in that number 74 FINA machine.
I'm telling you, if you threw a handful of rocks up in the air, he'd run through them this year. He's had a tough time. You see him there on the inside. Last year he was champion, the year before champion. This year, nothing but hard luck.
Other than the power going out, any surprises from your standpoint today, buddy?
Well, I think the surprise right now is leading the race, Ed Berrier. Everybody said, well, maybe, you know, he ran very well and qualified. We expect him to drop back maybe. Hey, he's for real. He's running a great race today. I know his father has to be proud of him. He, too, was a race driver.
Yeah, Max Berrier fielded the very first Busch car that Ed drove back in 1984. Back on the tail end of the lead lap now. Randy LaJoie just got by on the restart. He's in 14th position now. The 74 Randy LaJoie is back on the lead lap in 14th.
A lot of scrambling back in this group right here. Several cars running side by side. Now back to the leader. Randy LaJoie's car has been fast, but he runs for about 10 laps, and he seems to go away just a little bit. And the lead cars actually make a pass on him. You can see Ed Berrier getting very, very anxious to get by him and put a little distance between the second place car of Mike Dillon.
You know, buddy, as we were talking on the opening of the telecast today, thus far this year, this is the 8th race of the year. We've had 7 different winners in the 7 previous races. If this holds up, we'll go 8 for 8 now, because Berrier's not won ever in the NASCAR Busch Series.
You can see Berrier taking an inside look, and you're exactly correct. Eli, every driver in this field has had numerous races on this type of racetrack as they started out in racing. So you wouldn't say anybody had an advantage, but you can see right there, Ed Berrier makes contact to Randy LaJoie.
And around goes LaJoie. Oh, hard hit. Grubb tried to sneak through, and now the front straightaway finds itself all stacked up. Needless to say, caution is on the speedway for the 9th time as Randy LaJoie went around. We're not quite sure of the lap because the scoreboard is behind that big smoke that you saw over there in the corner. And again, we're in the satellite truck because of the power outage. So we'll have Wayne Womack, our cameraman, show us lap 235. Caution for the 9th time, lap 235. We're going to break away and come right back. We are live with you at Hickory Motor Speedway. A little bit under power, but nevertheless, a darn good race. We're coming right back.
Great job.
Welcome back, everybody, to Hickory Motor Speedway. A very unusual day and a further unusual situation. Let's again mention that we're out without any power except here in the satellite truck where Buddy and I are working right now with our crew. We only have this one camera, which is pushed in as tight as it will go. There's been an accident on the extension of pit road. Pit road extends around. You see where that ambulance is? After Randy LaJoie and Kevin Grubb had their problems on the racetrack, Grubb apparently came down pit road, and from what we are told, his brakes locked up, and he crashed into one of the toolboxes down there, and Todd Wilkerson, who was a crew member, fell off the toolbox and hurt his wrist and his arm, and as a result, NASCAR has thrown the red flag because what again we can't show you because we only have this one camera. The exit to pit road has now been blocked by the safety vehicles and so on. Todd Wilkerson, who works for the 37 team of Mark Green, was apparently the injured crew member, and this, regretfully, is the only picture we can give you. Again, we don't have Glenn or Steve Burns, Glenn Jarrett or Burns, because of the power failure here. And this is the only camera we've got that is up and running. And that is as far as Wayne Womack, our cameraman, can zoom in. So the red flag is on the track right now. And what you are seeing at home is exactly what we have. Nelson Crozier, who is assisting us here in the truck, has tuned in to our brethren on the radio side, MRN Radio, and is monitoring their broadcast. They, too, have just come back up on the air a short while ago, and Nelson is relaying to me what MRN is putting out to their radio audience, and together we will try and fill you guys in. But again, the red flag is out as a follow-up to the caution at lap 235, when apparently Kevin Grubb had a brake problem, and as he came down pit road, we are being told that he apparently ran into the toolbox upon which Todd Wilkerson was sitting. Todd fell off and has injured his left wrist, but the ambulances to check on Todd have blocked the exit to pit road. So everybody has come to a stop. We are also being told that Mike Cope has a flat tire, Buddy, in the midst of all this. So I don't know, is it a full moon? Are we due for a full moon here today? What a bizarre, bizarre afternoon.
Eli, what's happening right now is mainly, drivers making bad errors as far as thinking they have the car in front of them cleared and they make contact. And on this racetrack, if you make any contact coming out of the corner, the guy on the outside has absolutely no control of the car.
And again, there you see the view of the Hickory Speedway with the only camera that we have that's working. Again, the power is still out, except for the generator that is driving this uplink truck and the one series of pictures that we're getting. We're trying to get some messages. You can speak up, Pam. We're among family here. Pam Miller, our producer, is here coordinating things with Nashville as well. And right now, we are going to take a look, I'm told, at an interview that Buddy Baker conducted the other day with Dale Earnhardt Jr. as they look back on his win at Texas.
Texas had to be just so wonderful. I mean, your first big win. And you moved there on the last lap on Joe Nemechek. That had to mean so much to you.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. I never had an idea that I was going to get that good of a run on him off of 4. We had been getting off the corners good all day long, and it didn't seem like he got into 3 as good, and that kind of held him up off of 4. And when I seen that run coming up on him, I knew we was going to get ready to, be racing side by side pretty soon.
You said after the race that your father was on the radio with you and made you a little nervous. What did he say?
We had one caution there with about 6 laps to go that set the whole deal up, and we were racing back to the flag, and Mark Martin had a little damage, and me and Joe Nemechek, we were all in there racing together, and I felt it better just to hold back and try to race Joe when we got the next chance. And Dad was hollering, race 87 back to the caution flag. And things just get real hairy. He's excited, I'm excited, the crew's excited. We knew we had a chance to win, and he just wants us to win so badly.
With this added success, is the pressure getting a little more intense on you?
Well, not necessarily. There are a lot more people tugging on you one way or another, wanting your attention, but that goes with the territory. I grew up watching my father go through the same situations, so this is just our first win. It's going to get a whole lot worse before it gets better.
Yeah, everybody knows Dale Earnhardt, and they're learning very quickly about Dale Earnhardt Jr. What would you say you inherited from your father as far as your driving style?
Well, one thing that I've realized from looking from the inside out is not really boasting, but his ability to come from far back in the fields, his patience, but yet how quick he can pass cars and get back up into the top 10 or the top 5. It seems like it takes a lot of race car to do that too, but it takes a driver to be able to utilize that race car and be able to use it. And it seems like everywhere we've been, had a setback in the pits or whatever it may be at each racetrack, we've been able to climb back toward the front.
I'm sure when you walk into a place, you don't always say, I'm Dale Earnhardt Jr. What's the funniest thing that's ever happened to you when you went in and said, I'm Dale Earnhardt?
I don't know. A lot of strange things have happened to me over the past few years. A lot of people don't believe it at firsthand, but now that we're on TV more, now that we're more available to the public, and people have seen me a lot more, they do tend to recognize me a little easier. A lot of times I end up having to whoop out the driver's license or something like that before they leave, but here lately it's been pretty easy.
And we enjoyed learning about Dale Earnhardt Jr. I think one of the best things, too, is the fact that he has not changed from the days that I first knew him, when you first knew him. Success does not seem to have gone to his head, buddy.
Eli, totally unspoiled, a great young man. And the one thing I noticed the most about him, he worked on his own race cars. He respects how much the guys have to put into making that race car competitive. Not only that, hey, Dale Earnhardt himself said this win was almost as important to him as winning Daytona. He said it just made him feel so proud of Dale Jr. And, the kid is just perfect for this sport. He's going to add to the history of the sport and make it much richer.
As you can see, we are under a red flag here at Hickory for an accident that took place on pit road. We'll update again all that's gone on when we come back on TNN Motorsports. Welcome back, everybody. We are live at the Hickory Motor Speedway, where this race is under a red flag condition after an accident that injured a crewman on pit road. Todd Wilkerson, I am told, has been taken to the hospital with an injured left wrist. Cars, as you see, have now refired and are beginning to roll on top.
And he righted it right in front of Kevin Grubb. Kevin ran forward, no assistance necessary.
Competition caution. Just to update you, the 77 of Ed Barrier, they made an air pressure adjustment. No adjustments on the 72, and we're going green.
Going green after a red flag of 10 minutes and 22 seconds. They are working on Randy LaJoie's car. And now, remember, the 77 is Ed Barrier. The 00, Buckshot Jones, not on the lead lap. He is trying to get a lap back. The 72 of Mike Dillon is running second, Buddy Baker.
Absolutely, and you can see a lot of dust coming up there. That's from oil dry that they put on the racetrack to absorb the oil. Buckshot, it looks like he's dropping back just a little bit. Ed Barrier's on a mission today.
Dick Trickle, a stop-and-go penalty. He is back on the pit lane. He'll be returning to the race here in just moments. So you see the Schneider trucking car going around towards the exit of the pit lane.
And the 59 there, that's Robert Presley, putting out smoke in every corner, but it seems not to hurt the performance of his car. You see it light up with smoke right there as he gets down in the corner, and as he rockets off the corner there, the car's got good acceleration, so whatever it is sheet metal rubbing.
We're at lap 243. There you see second and third spot, Dillon and Robert Presley. The 77, that's Ed Berrier, showing the way. The only other time before today that Ed Berrier has led a race was back in 1990 at Orange County Speedway when he led from the pole. He won the Bud Pole, or as they called it, the Busch Pole in those days, and he led in that event. He hasn't led since, but right now he's going to be awfully tough to deal with, buddy.
He is that, and you can see Robert Presley. The smoke is getting a little more pronounced in the corners. The car won't stay on the bottom part of the racetrack, and the second car behind him there is Tim Fedewa, who is the next position car. He's trying to get by Buckshot Jones there to make a move up on Robert Presley.
We're closing in on just 50 laps remaining. Again, we have just this one camera available because of the power failure here at the Speedway. And we'll pan back towards the left and pick up the leaders right there. Ed Berrier is showing the way in car 77.
Mike Dillon in second in the 72 car. He has really run a great race today. Max Berrier shows a lot of good experience on this type of racetrack, though. Runs the line very well through the corner.
Right, Ed Berrier. His dad, Max Berrier, having fielded the cars for him. We're at lap 250 right now. 50 laps remaining on a beautiful day here in Hickory. If you're just joining us, we have had 9 caution flags, which ties the record for the most cautions in a race this season. We have also had the 1 red flag moments ago to make sure that Todd Wilkerson, who hurt his left wrist, a crewman, was able to go out to the area hospital and get tended to.
First and second's kind of stabilized. You can see them there. It's about a 15 car length lead. Ed Berrier comes off the corner very straight. You can see Mike Dillon getting down in the corner, not overrunning, but the battle is for third and fourth right now.
And folks, you can also, as we are doing, as the cars go through turns 1 and 2, you might just glance up yourselves into the corner. You'll see the scoreboard. That's lap 254 right now. Kind of tough to see, but we'll tighten in just a bit right there. So we'll be able to keep you up to speed on the exact lap count. 77 Berrier, 72 Dillon, 59 Presley, 33 Tim Fedewa. Interesting story there. You know, we had touched on the fact that Butch Enders is leaving the 33 car as crew chief after this day is done. No replacement has been named as of yet. And wouldn't it be something, as normally it seems to happen as a going away kind of situation? They're having one of the best runs of the year.
Well, the car we're talking about right now is pulling up.
My dad is going to be the one that takes over.
33 and 59 are really fighting
because
it out
you know
right now.
he and
Tim
Bertie were
Fedewa
so close.
Able to keep his car right on the bottom of the racetrack.
That is for third place here at Hickory. As Presley goes wide, Fedewa stays low, and Matt Kenseth closes in from the rear as well. Good racing in the final 40 laps here at Hickory. We're live on TNN Motorsports. Welcome back to Hickory. The race leader, the 77 Ed Berrier. We're at lap 265, 35 laps from the finish. 72 Mike Dillon, 17 Matt Kenseth now running in third. He's gotten by Robert Presley, who drops back to fourth, and fifth position now will be Hermie Sadler as we work near the finish of the Galaxy Foods 300 here in Hickory.
We missed Tim Fedewa there. He's moved up into third place, and Kenseth in fourth. As they go down there fighting it out now, he got by him as we were talking.
Indeed did. So Kenseth now makes the move around Fedewa. Again, if you're just joining us with a power failure here at Hickory, we're working with just one camera as Buddy Baker and I are here in the uplink truck. We only had a brief interlude with Glenn Jarrett and Steve Burns, who checked in quickly, but they're not with us on the telecast at this moment, nor is Larry McReynolds. He is here, but because of space constraints, just Buddy and I working here in the uplink truck. And look at Kenseth, the 17.
Matt Kenseth, you know, he's going to run Winston Cup in Talladega for Jack Roush.
Yeah.
Jack Roush says this guy has more talent than any young driver he's watched in many years. Got a brilliant future, and as anybody that was in Rockingham watched that last lap move he made to win the race there, they know that Mike Dillon better pick it up.
No doubt about it. You got that one nailed. Lap 271, 29 laps to go. We're doing the same thing you are, just kind of peeking at that scoreboard as it comes up on the screen. We're coming to 28 laps remaining. Now what, did Kenseth just save this, or is the track coming to him now here as the shadows grow longer?
Eli, he has that ability to drive
I kinda
this race
like
car
this
and not
large
overextend
view.
the tires. He has the feeling his
And he's able to
background is
pan
on a
out
racetrack
stuff.
just like this. He's very talented, and right now Mike Dillon's coming back to him.
Indeed he is. There's 74, Randy LaJoie, back on the racetrack after repairs on pit road. The leader, Ed Berrier, number 77. Jeff Krogh just ahead of him in that yellow and blue number 56. Already number of laps down.
Watching Ed Berrier there, 77, leading this race, it's hard to believe he's never won a Grand National race, because he is really mowing these guys down today.
25 laps remaining. Robert Presley not on the screen right now, but still putting down a lot of smoke out of that number 59. The Kingsford charcoal machine has been smoking much of the afternoon. Joe Bessie, the number 6, involved in an early accident today back at lap 94. That's why he has the modified look.
You can see him hoodless as he goes by there. Took a lot of sheet metal off that car, did a lot of damage to the front end settings also.
Now Mac Kenseth, the 17, has just made the move around Dillon, and again with one camera available to us, we kind of try and pick up as best we can. There is Kenseth having made the move around the 72 of Dillon, so Kenseth now in second.
In second, and putting 5 car lengths on the second place car of Dillon in just 2 laps. This car is flying around this racetrack.
If you were with us at Rockingham, you remember that Kenseth was in second place on the last lap going for the win in the NASCAR Busch Series race at the Rock.
We're back a
He
week.
kind of rooted Tony
No,
Stewart out of the way, who was looking for the victory.
We're back
and went
on the
to
screen, I
take
mean.
the win in the final
We were
300
watching it.
yards of the race.
How good?
Oh, that's a blown tire.
Into the wall, lap 280, as you can clearly see.
Or
Mark
broke
Green,
something
caution.
broke. He couldn't steer.
Right front tire is what it looked like, buddy.
Yeah, you could see the sparks as he started into turn 1. The right front was down and straight into the wall.
So Mark
Lap
Green
281.
brings out caution for the 10th time today as he
Barriers
loses a right
leading.
front tire and goes into the wall in turn number 1.
Kenseth,
Berrier leads, Kenseth
Dillon.
is second, Dillon is third, Hermie Sadler is fourth
Sadler,
on TNN.
Boy, they're having a
It was the
tough
same
time.
day that Ed Berrier led the Busch race back in August. To Colt, you saw some smoke from the right front of Shane Holmes.
Try that again.
Lap 287, 13 to go. Now the 99 is in 15th spot. Glenn
Whoa.
Allen. There's Kenseth losing the spot to Presley, to Colt. You saw some smoke from the right front of Shane Holmes, number 85. Now up front.
Something
You've got
broke on
Berrier,
Kenseth.
the 77 going around the lap machine of Glenn Allen Jr. Glenn Jarrett is now back online with us. What are you hearing?
Well, Eli, as I reported to you guys, to tell you he only has high gear, and it's a shame because he definitely had the best racetrack. When they run to green, he was mowing them down one right after another.
Oh.
That restart just absolutely killed him. Even though fourth gear is still pretty low here, all those other guys had the other gears to use, and there's just not enough time for him to get back up through there now. They're really disappointed down here. Matt's got a great race car.
You're exactly right, Glenn, and this is a cruel sport. One person person that's happy about that is Ed Barrier, leading the race right now, and that's 77 as he heads off turn 2.
Mike Dillon is second. Hermie Sadler up to third. Super run for Hermie. You've got Robert Presley with his bumper dragging just a bit. He's running in fourth. Mike Cope is in there in the mix as well. There you see second place, 72. Dillon, Hermie Sadler, who was inside of the 29. As we look from Dick Trickle backwards towards Dillon.
You can see Hermie Sadler making a move as they head down into turn 1 there. Hermie Sadler pulls even with Dillon. He's losing that spot.
The older of the Sadler brothers, Hermie, whose average
Block
finish
a little bit of the glare.
is now up to second spot.
You can see he's absent a left front fender on that car in an earlier scrape here. Part of that fender removed. Hermie Sadler made a full change on suspension on that car before the race today. Hey, they guessed right.
They did. It'll be 5 laps to go as they come to the
5
stripe.
to go.
Hermie Sadler in second. Unless something happens to Barrier, it's not going to be enough time to make up a full 2 seconds. But Hermie, who has led 181 laps here in his last 8 visits and has completed 98% of the laps here at Hickory, is really
This will be the last race I'll do today. Make this a short one. I have a lot of things I gotta do. I gotta do a parts list to fix the back wall and see what we're looking at. Check our budget with the boy. And see what we can be doing. Yeah, we gotta get the back wall closed.
Ed Barrier who took the lead on lap 194.
The one thing right now Ed Barrier has, it's his race to win. He could do something wrong, but he has a full straightaway lead over Hermie Sadler.
All of a sudden come in.
It will be the white flag next time for the leader. Ed Barrier right there. White flag from Carl Simmons.
What a great race for
Ed
him.
Barrier, who began in NASCAR Busch Series racing in
Whoa.
1984.
Mike
Dillon bullied his way through
there.
And here comes Barrier.
He's a pretty good driver, though. I mean,
Career NASCAR Busch Series race, he wins.
I see him pull from another level when he needs to.
Hermie is second, Fito a third, Dillon fourth, Kenseth will finish in fifth. Presley comes across the line in sixth, Cope is seventh, Earnhardt Jr. is eighth, Shane Hall ninth, Jason Keller 10th, and Jimmy Means. Yes, he's not on the racetrack, but he's a crew chief, and he is smiling.
No kidding.
And Eli, Jimmy ran hundreds of races as a Winston Cup driver. You get a win today here as a crew chief team manager. How does it feel, Jimmy?
Well, I tell you, I raced for 25 years, drove for 25 years. I've never been that nervous that long. Felt good. Put a bunch of guys together that wanted to go. I didn't know that much about racing, but put their heart and soul in. I'm happy for the guys that put all the hours in. Happy for our team. Team Lear, UAW, stood behind us. Let me move this down to my shop. Give me all the shop. Let me, run the whole deal. And appreciate Tony Hall and all the associates. They put together a good bunch of guys here. And hope we can do some more of this.
Well, Eli, their best finish before today was 10th, but today they come home the winner.
A super run, and we will go to, I'm sure, is going to be a wonderful victory lane ceremony. We're back to Hickory Motor Speedway in a moment. TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Galaxy Foods 300 from the Hickory Motor Speedway
they'll interview
has been brought
him,
to you by Texaco.
and then we'll sign out.
Texaco, a world of energy. That is Ed Barrier, the winner of today's Galaxy Foods 300 from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Glenn Jarrett, 208 races, and he's back in victory lane finally.
I can't tell you how much pleasure it gives me to congratulate this guy. Ed, I raced against you. What a great day. First win ever for Ford and Busch competition here. Your first win ever. What an awesome day.
It's been a great day, man. I'm telling you what, it got nerve-wracking there at the end because I knew, Dillon was back there, and then I seen the 17 car come up there, and I want to tell you what, the car just drove awesome.
Bye, guys.
Got a little loose there at one point. Just kind of tried to save the tires and all. And
see you next time.
Dillon was back there.